Okay, this is take two. Okay, all right, take two, because I have no idea. I know the story. I just read it, but I totally messed it up. It's an amazing book. It's a longer story. It's called Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters, and it's by the great John Steptoe. In fact, this guy was so great that they even have an award that they give to other authors who are doing a great job, the American Library Association. So, yeah, the John Steptoe Award. It says, since the publication, John Steptoe has illustrated, he's passed away now, he died in 1989, more than 15 picture books, 10 of which he wrote. And this one was a Caldecott Honor Book, okay? That's like a big award for best illustrations, okay? And he's gotten the Chris Scott King Award, and now there is a thing about him which is just so cool, the John Steptoe Award. So, okay, let me tell you, alright, this story. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you the pictures, alright? Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters, An African Tale. And then I'm going to have to hold it down because it's a long book and my eyeballs are old. But I'll show you the pictures before and after I read the page. So here we go. A long time ago, in a certain place in Africa, a small village lay across a river and a half a day's journey from a city where a great king lived. A man named Mufaro lived in this village with 2 daughters, who were called Manyara and Nyasha. Everyone agreed that Manyara and Nyasha were very beautiful. Amazing illustrations, right? Manyara was almost always in a bad temper. She teased her sister whenever their father's back was turned, and she had been heard to say, "Someday, Nyasha, I will be queen and you will be a servant in my household." "If that day should come to pass," Nyasha responded, "I will be pleased to serve you. But why do you say such things? You are clever and strong and beautiful. Why are you so unhappy?" "Because everyone talks about how kind you are, and they praise everything you do. I'm certain that father loves you best, but when I am queen, everyone will know that your silly kindness is only weakness." Nyasha was sad that Manyara felt this way, but she ignored her sister's words and went about her chores. Nyasha kept a small plot of land on which she grew millet, sunflowers, yams, and vegetables. She always sang as she worked, and some said it was her singing that made her crops more beautiful than anyone else's. One day, Nyasha noticed a small garden snake resting beneath a yam vine. "Good day, little Nyoko," she called to him. "You are welcome here. You will keep away any creatures who might spoil my vegetables." She bent forward and gave the little snake a loving pat on the head and returned to her work. From that day on, Nyoko was always at Nyasha's side when she tended her garden. It was said that she sang all the more sweetly when he was there. You see him? There he is. There he's right there. Mufaro knew nothing of how Manyara treated Nyasha. Nyasha was too considerate of her father's feelings to complain, and Manyara was always too careful to behave herself when Mufaro was around. Early one morning, a messenger came from the city. The great king wanted a wife. The most worthy and beautiful daughters in the land are invited to appear before the king, and he will choose one to become queen, the messenger proclaimed. Mufaro called Manyara and Nyasha to him. "It would be a great honor to have one of you chosen. Prepare yourselves to journey to the city. I will call together all our friends to make a wedding party. We will leave tomorrow as the sun rises." "But my father," Manyara said sweetly, "it would be painful for either of us to leave you, even to be wife to the king. I know Nyasha would grieve to death if she were parted from you. I am strong. Send me to the city, and let poor Nyasha be happy here with you." Mufaro beamed with pride. "The king has asked for the most worthy and the most beautiful. No, Manyara, I cannot send you alone. Only a king can choose between 2 such worthy daughters. Both of you must go." But that made Manyara mad,
You're
huh?
in there?
Yeah, I bet it did. Oh wait, hold on. Miss Rebecca wants to say goodbye. I'll get right back. I was just saying goodbye to Miss Rebecca, and we're back. All right, so there. Oh, yeah, this is whenever the dad was like, no, both of you girls have to go. And we know Minyara was mad. Well, yeah, she was so mad she was going to get a head start. That night, when everyone was asleep, Minyara stole quietly out of the village. She had never been in the forest at night before, and she was frightened, but her greed to be the first to appear before the king drove her on. In her hurry, she almost stumbled over a small boy who suddenly appeared, standing in the path. Please, I'm hungry. Will you give me something to eat? I brought only enough for myself, Minyara replied. But please, I'm so very hungry. Out of my way, boy. Tomorrow I will become your queen. How dare you stand in my path? And there she is, yelling at this poor kid. After traveling for what seemed like a great distance, Minyara came to a small clearing. There, silhouetted against the moonlight, was an old woman seated on a large stone. And there she is. Okay. The old woman spoke. I will give you some advice, Minyara. Soon after you pass the place where two paths cross, you will see a grove of trees. They will laugh at you, but you must not laugh in return. Later, you will meet a man with his head under his arm. You must be polite to him. How do you know my name? How dare you advise your future queen? Stand aside, you ugly old woman. Minyara scolded and rushed on her way without looking back. Just as the old woman had foretold, Minyara came to a grove of trees, and they did indeed seem to be laughing at her. I must be calm. I will not be frightened. She looked up at the trees and laughed out loud. I laugh at you, trees, she shouted and hurried on. It was not yet dawn when Minyara heard the sound of rushing water. The river must be up ahead. Ah, the great city is just on the other side. But there, on the rise, she saw a man with his head tucked under his arm. Minyara ran past him without speaking. A queen acknowledges only those who please her, she said to herself. I will be queen, I will be queen, she chanted as she hurried on toward the city. Actually, I'm not really sure if that's the woman. No, yeah, that's the woman, and that's Minyara. Yeah, okay. Alright, so now we're still back home in the village. Nyara's there, right? Nyara woke at the first light of dawn. As she put on her finest garments, she thought of how her might life be changed forever beyond this day. I'd much prefer to live here. I'd hate to leave this village and never see my father or sing to my little Nyoka again. Her thoughts were interrupted by loud shouts and a commotion from the wedding party assembled outside. Minyara was missing. Yeah, it's because she's already on the way to the king. Everyone bustled about, searching, calling for her. When they found her footprints on the path that led to the city, they decided to go on as planned. As the wedding party moved through the forest, brightly plumed birds darted about in the cool green shadows beneath the trees. Although anxious about her sister, Nyasha was soon filled with excitement about all there was to see. They were deep in the forest when she saw the small boy standing by the side of the path. You must be hungry, she said, and handed him a yam she had brought for her lunch. The boy smiled and disappeared as quietly as he had come. Later, as they were approaching the place where the two paths crossed, the old woman appeared and silently pointed the way to the city. Nyasha thanked her and gave her a small pouch filled with sunflower seeds. The sun was high in the sky when the party came to the grove of towering trees. The uppermost branches seemed to bow down to Nyasha as she passed beneath them. At last, someone announced that they were near their destination. So, a little bit different journey for Nyasha, huh? Can you see what's coming? Alright, here we are. Nyasha ran ahead and topped the rise before the others could catch up with her. She stood transfixed at the sight of the city. Oh, my father! A great spirit must stand guard here. Look what lies before us. I never in all my life dreamed there could be anything so beautiful. Looking down the city. Arm in arm, Nyasha and her father descended the hill, crossed the river, and approached the city gate. As they entered through the great doors, the air was rent by piercing cries, and Minyara ran wildly out of the chamber at the center of the enclosure. When she saw Nyasha, she fell upon her, sobbing. "Do not go to the king, my sister! Oh, please, father, do not let her go!" she cried hysterically. "There's a great monster in there, a snake with 5 heads. He said that he knew all my faults and that I displeased him, and he would swallow me alive if I had not run. Oh, please, my sister, do not go inside that place." It frightened Nyasha to see her sister so upset, but leaving her father to comfort Minyara, she bravely made her way to the chamber and opened the door. What? Look who it is! Look! On the other side of the great chief's stool lay the little garden snake. Nyasha laughed with relief and joy. "My little friend!" she exclaimed. "It's such a pleasure to see you, but why are you here?" "I'm the king," Nyoka replied. And there, before Nyasha's eyes, the garden snake changed shape. Check it out. "I am the king. I'm also the hungry boy with whom you shared a yam in the forest, and the old woman to whom you made a gift of sunflower seeds. But you know me best as Nyoka. Because I've been all these, I know you to be the most worthy and most beautiful daughter in the land. It would make me very happy if you would be my wife." And so it was that, a long time ago, Nyasha agreed to be married. The king's mother and sisters took Nyasha to their house, and the wedding preparations began. The best weavers in the land laid out their finest cloth for the wedding garments. Villagers from all around were invited to the celebration, and the great feast was held. Nyasha prepared the bread for the wedding feast from millet that had been brought from her village. Mufaro proclaimed to all who'd hear him that he was the happiest father in all the land, and for he was blessed with 2 beautiful and worthy daughters, Nyasha the queen, and Minyara, a servant in the queen's household. And you can see, that's pretty cool, huh? Check out the end here. Beautiful picture, huh? So, does that story, and look at this dude too. Does that story kind of like remind you of another story? It kind of, I gotta be honest with you. They say that it's like the African Cinderella, but I don't think I would have drawn that conclusion just from reading it, unless maybe I thought about it a little more deeply. But I totally get it, you know, the prince like choosing the one who was kind and good, and the nasty one like getting passed over and everything. Like, I get that. What I really love about this one is that like the king and Nyasha really did know each other. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, we know each other, let's get married. You know what I mean? Like, they did know each other because he was the snake. So he like knew each other all along. I mean, yeah, it's pretty wild. I think that's pretty cool. And I forgot in the beginning, it says that this was a folktale collected by G.M. Thiel. This was what the author said, and published in 1895 in a book called Kaffick's Folktales. Details of the illustration were inspired by the ruins of an ancient city found in Zimbabwe and the flora and fauna of the region. The names of the characters are from the Shona language. Mufaro means happy man. Nyasha, which is so cool because it has pronunciations, means mercy. And Minyara means ashamed. Nyoka means snake. The author wishes to thank Nimani Mutama and Ona Kawanele of the Afro-American Institute and Jill Penford of the Zimbabwe Mission for their helpful assistance in the research for this book. This book is dedicated to the children of South Africa. And that, my friends, is a cool folktale by the John Steptoe dude. And I thank you. And I hope you have a beautiful day. And I hope you have a great start to an awesome weekend. And my name is Miss Ang. I don't know if I said that on take 2. I'm from the Shayla Northwest Library. Proud to be serving you. I'm one of your librarians at your library. Can you kiss your beautiful brain? Will you kiss your loving heart? Will you look in the mirror, please? Because you are beautiful like Manyara and Nyara. And I know you're beautiful in your hearts too. Okay. I love you guys. Hey, goodbye.